Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. In case this is your first time watching one of my videos, hi, I'm Leslie. I'm so glad to have you here. On my channel I talk about all things luxury, in particular handbags, but I cover a wide range of topics on here. I film unboxings, reviews, shopping vlogs, travel vlogs from time to time, and the occasional like high street fashion video thrown into the mix. So if that sounds like a thing, I would love for you to consider subscribing, and while you're down there also hit that little bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Anyway, so today's video, I guess it's kind of a chatty catch-up 2-month check-in of my Birkin. So I purchased this beauty right here. It's the Birkin 35 in Togo leather, etoupe and gold hardware at my local boutique. I'd say it was like towards the end of February. It's like end of April right now, so 2 months, I guess. Let's call it a 2-month check-in. And by the way, if you haven't watched my like story time, how I got the bag and yeah, reveal and everything, make sure you do. It's a long one. Grab yourself a snack and something to drink. I'm going to leave a link to that video in the info box below. Anyway, so in the comments under that video, for instance, some of you asked me to share mod shots of how the Birkin 35 looks on me. And for reference, I'm 177 centimeters, so 5'10". So that's definitely something that's coming up later in the video. Then I have a couple of questions to ask you that kind of came up since owning this bag, and maybe some of you own Birkins, Kellys, and can provide your insight on that. Also, I finally purchased an insert. It's from a company called MaiTai, which I didn't know before I filmed my review video, but this brand came up quite a number of times in the comments. Just to preface, I bought this with my own money. The company doesn't know I exist. I searched for coupon codes, but I wasn't able to find any, so yeah, I paid the full amount. Just wanted to clarify that. Anyway, so I went for a very special design. They do have like basic designs, but also special ones. So I'm going to reveal the insert and give you my first impression and show you what it looks like in my Birkin. So that's also something that we're going to cover in today's video. And I hope I'm not going to regret what I'm about to say, but yeah, I guess the question boils down to, do I have second thoughts about purchasing my Birkin? Do I regret it? The short answer is no, but there's more to it. So, okay, backstory, I guess. So while I was filming the B-roll for today's video, so showing you the insert, which I'm going to include later in the video once I'm done with this chatty part, and I'm trying to keep it as short and as concise as possible. But yeah, bear with me. Anyway, so while I was filming the B-roll for today's video, I also filmed the B-roll for my Polène review video. I don't know when this video will go up, so either the Polène unboxing and first impression what fits inside video will already be up, which in that case I'm also going to link to that video in the description box, or it will be one of the next videos that will be coming up soon. Anyway, so I had both my Birkin and my new Polène bag out, and I don't know, speaking in Marie Kondo terms, when I was holding my Birkin and then holding my Polène bag, because they're also pretty similar in color, so I was trying to compare the colors, I want to say the Polène bag sparked more joy, completely gut feeling, just looking at both of them. It might also be because the Polène is newer than my Birkin, but from a handbag lover's perspective, the Birkin is so much more coveted and hard to get and more expensive than a Polène bag. Why did the Polène bag kind of spark more joy than the Birkin? Yeah, so that led me kind of into a rabbit hole of kind of questioning or second guessing myself on why I purchased the Birkin to begin with, and B, why is it that, for me personally at least, the Birkin, I mean, I love the bag, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that I purchased it, and I appreciate I'm in a very fortunate position that I was even offered the bag, especially considering that I don't have a huge purchase history, close to nothing basically. I don't even have an SA at Hermès that I regularly work with or that knows my name. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that I was even offered the bag and that I'm in a financial position to buy the bag, especially considering that the call from my local boutique came kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, so glad that I purchased the bag, but and it's not so much a realization that I came to yesterday, but more so a reminder that I think my approach to buying luxury and handbags, and why I've been loving handbags for as long as I can remember, you can ask my parents or high school friends, I've always been a handbag girl. And granted, my tastes might have gotten a little more expensive over the years, but yeah, not the point. Anyway, so I was reminded of the fact that I love handbags for what they are. And apart from my Pochette Métis, I guess, this Birkin, or like Birkins in general, is my only bag where I think the hype around it and the desirability and how hard it is to get and how everyone talks about like the Birkin being the ultimate goal bag. I think apart from the Pochette Métis, where also a significant factor of me wanting the bag was the hype around it, the Birkin is my only other bag that's the case with. So I knew going into the purchase that a good chunk of me wanting the bag is not like inherently in the bag itself, but more like in the hype around it. What I probably didn't realize is that the percentage of this like, I want the bag because everyone else wants it or has it or like hypes it up to like the heavens, I think the percentage is a little higher than I was anticipating it. I mean, I hope I'm making sense here. Don't get me wrong, the bag is beautiful and it's amazingly crafted. The leather feels great. With the price and like with one artisan working on the bag from start to finish and everything, I'd imagine or I'd hope that the quality is excellent. The design is fairly simple, but the simplicity also has an appeal to it. So don't get me wrong, I love the bag. But I think what it boils down to is the reminder. It's not, as I said, not a realization, because I knew that like from my track record, I guess, from buying handbags, just because a bag is like super expensive or super hyped up doesn't, at least for me, doesn't equate to it being like extremely special in my collection compared to other bags that I own, regardless of the price. As I said, my Polan bag is way less expensive. Like I paid 320 bucks for that and I paid close to 10k for this. I guess I would feel more comfortable with that price tag if my headspace were at a place where I would be like, this bag is the ultimate, I love it way more than all the other bags in my collection, because then I would feel more like comfortable in justifying that I spent such a crazy amount on a handbag. But I guess that's just not how my brain works when it comes to handbags. I love handbags for what they are, and just because they're super expensive doesn't mean that they're more special or like that I love them more than other bags in my collection. I hope I'm making sense. As I said, please don't come for me, and chances are I might have lost like a good portion of you that started watching this video, either because I offended all the Hermès stands or because I was rambling and I lost like 90% of you because you weren't able to follow, which I would definitely feel you on, because I feel like I haven't conveyed where my head is at like super eloquently, and I could have been a little more concise, but also it's really hard to put into words because it's like, yeah, just how I'm feeling, like gut feeling wise, and I'm not the best at describing my emotional reactions or like my gut feeling into words and like backing it up with like logical aspects. Anyway, so before I dig myself into a hole, that's where I'm at. Again, I don't regret buying my Birkin. It's just that I think in my head I've hyped that bag up so much that I kind of felt a little deflated when I realized that it's just another bag. God, that sounds so bad. It's of course not just any bag, it's a Birkin, but still, yeah. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. If you kind of get where I'm coming from, or if you can relate in any way, or if you've had like similar experiences, be it with a Birkin or be it with a classic flap compared to other bags in your collection that are way less expensive, I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so there's that. That's the rambly part of this video, done and dusted. I hope I was kind of making sense. Anyway, so next off, let's talk about the insert that I finally pulled the trigger on. So yeah, as I mentioned, I went for MaiTai. They do have like standard designs, which are plain one color, and then they have special designs. And while I was at it, I was like, okay, I'm spending a good amount of money on an insert. Might as well add a couple of euros and get a very special and beautiful looking one. So I'm going to cut to the unboxing, like unbagging, of the insert and also show you what it looks like in the Birkin. Alright, so let's get into the not unboxing because I already threw out the box. Plus the box got kind of damaged in transit. Luckily no impact on the insert or anything like that, so we're good to go for the unbagging basically, because MaiTai has their own like branded dust bags, which definitely gives it a super luxe feel. Also, the price tag isn't, I mean, they are not the most expensive ones, but they are also not the cheapest. From like first impression and everything, I think I made the right choice to go for MaiTai. I didn't know them before I filmed and uploaded my Birkin storytime and reveal video, but a couple of you mentioned in the comments that I should check out MaiTai, which I did. And let me free her from the dust bag. So MaiTai is made in France, which I appreciate, and they do have more standard, I guess, fabrics that aren't as expensive as the one that I went for, but I was like, okay, when I'm already spending a ton of money on a bag, as in my Birkin, and I know that I also don't want to go for the cheapest alternative when it comes to inserts, might as well go all out. So yeah, they do have like plain colored fabric inserts, but this one, or like they have an entire line where they use third-party designer fabrics. So this fabric is by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and I'm losing sunlight as I'm filming, but I think the beauty of the fabric still translates. So the color itself, so the base of the insert is like a taupey color, fairly similar to the tube of my Birkin, which I'm going to put them side by side in a sec. But yeah, on top of that you have this like intricate design that is like metallic gold, kind of just stunning. Anyway, so I think they do have a couple of other colors in this particular Jean-Paul Gaultier fabric, but they also have other designer fabrics, so yeah, definitely check them out. And let me remove the stuffing. So on the inside you have quilted on the bottom, and other than that, like around the edges of the insert you have this like these different kind of slip compartments, and on one side you have MaiTai collection made in France and also quilted. And yeah, other than that, it's a large hole, which I appreciate and I prefer. I don't particularly like these inserts where you have like basically half of the insert taken over, like a third of the insert by like a giant loop where you can put like your water bottle in there. I prefer my inserts and my bags in general to be like one open space, because that way I can play Tetris and decide which item is going to go where. So there's that. All right, I think it's about time to introduce the insert to Miss B, or the other way around, whichever way you prefer. So here we go, and if you like compare the taupe color of the insert with the tube is definitely a lot warmer in color. Yeah, I mean, tube is a grayish, brown, beige, whatever you want to call it, but definitely has a warmer undertone. The color of the insert is more like the base of the insert is more cold gray, brownish, whatever, but they're fairly similar in color, and I wanted to have like somewhat of a similar color on the inside of my bag. I mean, don't get me wrong, like super colorful inserts are very fun as well, but I don't know, maybe I'm being a little paranoid. I didn't want to go for a very colorful insert because I'm afraid of color transfer. I'm sure those insert companies, especially the more pricey ones, make sure that the color of the insert doesn't like transfer onto the inside of the bag, but better be safe than sorry, so I went for somewhat of a neutral shade that matches my Birkin. So I might have to like pull you back a little to give the full picture of putting the insert inside of my bag, so hold tight. Alright, I took you off the tripod to show you in a little more detail, or try to, so bear with me as I'm doing this one-handed. So yeah, basically on the inside, it's not like a super tight fit, which I prefer because it does give the, especially on the sides, I mean the Birkin folds on the side, so yeah, it does need a little room to play on the inside so it doesn't like push against the insert, so that's like an intentional gap right there. But I feel like it's a pretty good fit, and yeah, I just feel very content that I now finally have an insert for my Birkin. Definitely gives me a little peace of mind. And now I only need to decide whether I want to take these stickers off or not. So yeah. I said I was done with the chatty part, but there was one other aspect that might have led to me being a little deflated when comparing or like holding the Birkin in my hand compared to the Polen one. Not so much because of the comparison, but just while looking at the bag. So it's a Togo bag, and Togo is on the softer side, especially when you compare it to Epsom. I did learn something very interesting about Epsom and how Hermès looks at Epsom, especially in Birkins. I talked about that in the reveal and storytime video. Again, will be linked below. Anyway, so my initial request or wish would have been Epsom. I ended up with Togo, which is also fine, but it's a softer leather. The Birkin 35 is a big bag. Big bags, soft leather usually means less structure. If you hold it up like this, and I don't have the insert in right now, you see definitely, I hope you're able to see some slouching, or not even slouching, but yeah, the base isn't super stiff. Doesn't bother me that much because yeah, I usually don't put the bag on something that's not flat. If I put the bag down, it's on a flat surface and then you have the feet on the bottom, rather than just putting the bag on something that pushes in on the middle of the base. That's an aspect that I can live with, but also when I was looking at the front of the bag right here, it's not a perfectly straight line. It's like a little, oh God, when I say wavy, it sounds really bad, but it's not perfectly straight. Maybe if I hold it like this, you might be able to see it. Anyway, so that also, I mean, considering I spent a fortune on this bag, and I'm a girl that loves structured bags, this wavy situation, which I did look on Instagram for the hashtag Birkin35, and it looks like that's normal, I guess. On the other hand, I did see some black Birkin 35s in Togo, and they didn't have this wavy situation. So I don't know. Again, I love my Birkin. I'm glad I bought it, but just a reality check that it being a Birkin by Hermès and hard to get and everything doesn't automatically mean that everything is perfect about this bag. So here's the Birkin without an insert, and let me put it in again. I mean, you already saw me putting the insert in the cutaway, but so now we have the insert in. Let me pull these sangles a little, so there we go. And now it's definitely more structured on the base, which makes me really happy. The insert hasn't taken care of the wavy situation. How could it? I mean, the insert stops about here, I'd say. So yeah, I guess it's just something I have to live with. So here's the bag with the insert in. Of course, it does add a little weight, but I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not walking around with holding my bag like this. If I was, I would be jacked on my right arm at least, because I mean, the bag itself is on the heavier side and the insert does add some weight, but yeah, I'm fine with that if I carry it on the crook of my arm or handheld. Talking about handheld, I'm still looking for a second Twilly. I own the Brie de Cour in white, black and a beigey color, but that particular design was from 2 years ago. So I'm looking on the pre-loved market, but it's hard to find because neutral color Twillys are very hard to find to begin with. Anyway, so the Twilly situation isn't fully sorted out yet. One other question, I mentioned that in the cutaway, I haven't removed any of the stickers apart from, on here, because that bothered me, because if you try to put the sangles on top of this loopy situation, it's kind of annoying. I haven't removed any of the other stickers. I'd be fine with removing the stickers on the bottom, but it's more so, what am I doing with the sticker right here and on the sangles? Because of course, the sticker makes it look a little more matte, and I love shiny, so that's an aspect that would be pro removing the stickers, but I also don't like scratches. So, and I also don't want to risk like, yeah, leaving the stickers on for too long and then like oxidizing or like residue. I don't know. So if you have any insight on what the best and like ultimate approach to tackling the stickers or not tackling the stickers is, definitely let me know. And one other question. I'm kind of struggling with how I'm supposed to store my bag. Chances are I'm going to leave the insert in because that gives it more structure and it doesn't like to distort the shape of the bag in any way, so I'm fine with that. But then, what do? Do I leave the bag open like this? With the sangles like dangling, or do I close it like fully with like the flap over top and yeah, attaching the sangles and everything? Do I do that with the felt protector or without the felt protector? I think I heard somewhere that if you store the bag, I don't think they specified with or without the felt protector, but if you store the bag like closed up with the flap on top, someone said that that stretches out the leather of the sangles. No ideas. I'm a little confused, but yeah, so if you have any insight on that, I would really appreciate your input because I want to keep my Birkin looking as pristine as possible for as long as possible, while also, yeah, taking care of it and also enjoying it. I'm not one to put handbags on a pedestal, for instance. I also wear my jumbo, like, of course not day to day, but it's not like a mental barrier in terms of, okay, I'm going to wear a handbag out of my collection today. Is it any handbag or is it my Chanel jumbo? It's like, yeah, every bag's the same basically. Anyway, I'm not one to put handbags on a pedestal, and I'm definitely wearing my Birkin, and I've worn it a couple of times already, especially with the weather getting better and with us having less rain or like the weather at least being a little more predictable. I'm really looking forward to wearing this beauty more often. Of course, I always have the raincoat on the inside, but if it were me, I'd prefer to never have to use the raincoat to begin with because, yeah, I don't know how secure or like how much protection the raincoat would actually provide. But yeah, lots of questions, lots of thoughts, lots of rambly bits. But yeah, I guess, oh, okay, I still owe you the mod shots, so I will include them yeah, towards the end of this video. And other than that, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you if you're still around. I'm fully aware that this was more of like a stream of consciousness kind of video and super rambly, and especially at the beginning, but I just, yeah, wanted to get it off my chest. For anyone that's looking into Hermès, maybe double check why you want the bag to begin with. I did want the bag because I love the design, but I kind of didn't bargain for how much of me wanting the bag thing is dictated by how much the bag is hyped up. And yeah, again, I'm not going to go into that again because I will be off on a tangent that will take up another 10 minutes or so. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, ring that little bell so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And now I'm going to insert the mod shots. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye. When you came over, my heart was on its way out.